Hey everyone, this is a video I've been wanting to do for a little bit, kind of like a devlog for my Modlist Moonshadow. So, with all of the Skyrim updates recently, I decided it would be best if I just rebuilt the list from scratch. I wanted to downgrade to 1.5.97 and just forget any, anything past that exists. So, as I was rebuilding the list, naturally a lot of changes came up. So I kind of just want to start from scratch, assuming you have no experience with the list, and just kind of go over some of the things the list is aiming to do, who it's for, who it's not for, that sort of thing. Hop in game, explain some things, check some things out, and just get an idea of where the list is, where I want it to be when it's done, that sort of thing. So like I said, this is like a development diary. This list is not complete. Still a lot of stuff that needs to be done. A lot of polishing up. Mostly, I think the core is in place. So, don't even really know where to begin. Let's start with the Requiem. So this is a Requiem-based list. If you're unfamiliar with Requiem, there's no point in me explaining it. It's a huge mod. You're better off looking at other resources to try to explain what it does if you're unfamiliar. But what I will explain is Requiem for a Knave. So this is pretty much a really big gameplay overhaul for Requiem, kind of like 3 tweaks or anything in that vein. So what I really love about it, I'm going to highlight this one part right here that spoke to me. If you played Requiem in the past and liked the general ideas of an unleveled world and more lethal combat, but found the mod's obtuseness and lack of polish off-putting, then Requiem for a Knave may interest you. So when I read that, I immediately was like, okay, this is perfect. Because as a lot of people, when I first played Requiem, loved 85% of it, but there was just that 15% of just kind of weird features that felt just kind of awkward, clumsy, stuff that was more frustrating than anything, and just some areas that lacked polish. And this mod really cleans it up. Again, you can read the mod page if you want to know more, but it really, if you look through this, you'll see it kind of covers every base. Melee combat, ranged combat, magic, perks, NPCs, werewolf, vampire forms, your crafting skills, standing stones, etc. Pretty much everything. It has, a divine and Daedric blessing system, which is great. Bunch of changes. A little bit of Dragonborn integration, which is nice. Fozar's Dragonborn patch is what it is. It has its issues, but it's before this was the only thing available, so it's nice to have an alternative, though, as it says, it's not fully integrated. So along with Requiem for a Knave, what I was talking about earlier with a lot of stuff with Requiem just feeling frustrating, I have exhaustion and stamina tweaks and no running stamina drain, which basically just helps stamina management be less of a chore. It makes, walking from Riverwood to Whiterun not take 40 minutes because you're out of stamina. Obviously, it makes the game easier. I'm not intending for this list to be this super hardcore combat realistic. You get hit once, you're dead. Resource management. You got to plan for 20 minutes before you, leave your house. It's more of a role play based thing. That's my main goal, is just being immersed in the world of Skyrim, having fun, still being challenged, but not feeling completely hopeless. I'll say you might have already figured it out by looking at things, or if you've played the lists before this update. Wildlander is a big inspiration for this list. Obviously, it's an incredible list. I love what it does. So I kind of want to be in that vein. So, like I said earlier, we are on 1.5.97, but I do have the best of both worlds patcher. So, fishing, survival mode, rare curios, and Saints and Seducers is all integrated. Requiem takes care of all of those besides Saints and Seducers, which I have completely disabled. This mod here will basically pretend it never exists, which is the best possible option in my opinion. So past Requiem for gameplay stuff, not a ton we'll go through. Paradigm is what I'm using for an alternate start. Not completely sold on it yet. I love the archetype system, but at the same time, Obviously, the choice to start in any location with a mod like Alternate Start Unborn is amazing. It really frees up your roleplay. But at the same time, I think starting anywhere in Requiem in a completely unleveled world can be a little tougher than regular Skyrim, because you're, being thrown to the wolves, or in Requiem's case, being thrown to the trolls pretty much immediately, and it can be hard to get off your feet at all. Couple minor things we'll look through here. There's not going to be anything super game-changing besides Requiem stuff. I kind of want to keep this a pretty stock Requiem experience, and then as I play and as I get, play testing feedback, I'll start to address more specific areas, because Requiem's obviously a super cohesive overhaul, and when you start adding different mods that aren't intended to be used with it, it can get a little muddy. You can get some consistency and balance issues. So yeah, as far as, vanilla quest improvement, you're going to see all J Serpa's stuff, your basic, Penitus Oculatus, like nothing crazy. We do have some new quests. All the Environs mods are here. New quests, I have a couple. The big ones, Heart of the Reach and Siren Root, I think they're just fantastic quests, and they both have pre-made Requiem patches, which is great, because like what I mentioned earlier, it can be pretty easy to unbalance Requiem by adding mods that weren't made for it. And then I have a couple other ones, actually mostly by this one author, Nimwraith. Really cool quest mods. They're all very dialogue focused, not a lot of combat, if any, and that's why I think they fit great for Requiem, because there's nothing to unbalance. It's, a lot of lore, role play, character building stuff. And you'll see no big quest mods. I never plan on adding like Bruma, Worm's Tooth, Project AHO, I think it's what it's called. I don't have anything against those mods personally. I just think putting that in the Requiem list is never going to work very well. And in general, I just, DLC size mods are great for their own thing, but I like to keep my quests small and just ensure that top-notch quality. When we come to new items, we have a handful of weapons and armor, some fun stuff you'll be familiar with. Lunar Guard armor is great, and what's especially great is that Requiem for a Knave has custom patches for all the mods you see here for new items, like very thoroughly thought out by the original author, so you're getting that intended balance. And it's all really high quality stuff, and it fits right in the game. Plug and play with Requiem, which is great. And you can see here, if you look at these separators, these are all the location improvements I have. And if I just start expanding them, I separated them by hold, and I have quite a few. This is probably the biggest part of the mod list, was getting these city overhauls all working nicely together while not destroying performance. So we'll hop in the game. I won't talk much about visuals, because that's just better explained in-game. So yeah, we'll hop in game, we'll run around for a bit, talk about, check out the major cities, talk about the visuals, and experience some more gameplay stuff as we go. So I will say, not an EMB list. You can see maybe the separator, community shaders. Obviously, does not look as good as EMB. I don't think it will ever be at that level, or at least not anytime soon. But I do not have a great computer. I have a Ryzen 7 1700 and a GTX 1060, which is probably pushing 7 years old at this point. So I want to keep my performance consistent, and I want to be able to provide a consistent experience for everybody. I don't want this to be one of those lists that requires like a 3080 minimum. I think a lot of Modlist authors can forget that not everybody has, a month's rent to spend on a new GPU. So I'm striking that middle tier. I can enable my metrics here. Let's just COC from the main menu. That's never a good idea, but I'm just testing stuff. Like I said, early build, there's going to be discrepancies. Like I haven't generated LOD. Some animation stuff might be weird, because I think my Nemesis I haven't regened it. in a little bit. But, oh yeah, you can see that LOD just looks terrible. But if you focus on what's close to you, yeah, I'm very happy with how it looks. You'll see Skyland is your main one. Weathers is Raid Weathers. And like I said, community shaders stuff. Flora, you'll see some Cathedral 3D. Mari's Flora, a nice mix. Cathedral Grass, still my go-to after all these years and all these new mods that have come out. I love how it looks, especially in the Tundra, and their performance is unmatched. Skoglandy is a close second. I do love that one as well. So we'll continue on. Oh yeah, Fabled Forests as well. You can see the forests just look like big and imposing, which I love. You can really get lost up in Riverwood and Falkreath. So I'll just continue on. I'm not going to showcase anything in particular. You know what? Let me start the Requiem installation. I always forget you have to do that just to finish things up. And let me take off my heavy armor so I'm not losing stamina. So you can see some Whiterun stuff. Whiterun has walls is the main one. We'll get into that as we go, but there's also some little ones like this. The fences are replaced with in vanilla, you know, it's those stone walls. Replaced them with like regular fences that pop in. I haven't generated that LOD like I said, so that'll go away. I didn't get that health. Unfortunate. Weapons and armor textures, a good point. Very good chance to point them out. Zavio stuff, pretty much all across the board. Rustic clothing as well. Ooh, I'm naked. I forgot about that. But yeah, I think Zavio stuff is just top notch. Ooh, look at you. Pro's striking a pose. Yeah, I think it's top of the line. It just looks incredible.
Fight with us and you'll have stories to tell. Come up to
and it's obviously a consistent look. It's all about the same author, so I'm a big fan of that. Yes, I know I'm getting hungry. You can see, so performance, yeah, in the top left, you can see my VRAM usage and performance. Keep in mind, I'm losing. It's hard to give an exact figure, but like 8 to 10 FPS maybe due to recording. VRAM usage, though, I will say, it's currently a little higher than I want. I want the list to be runnable on 4 gigs of VRAM. So right now we're over that, so I'll have to do some tweaking, probably. I'll experiment with resizing different things, you know, different tweaks here and there to hopefully get it runnable on a 4 gig VRAM card. So yeah, Whiterun has walls is going to be the main thing for Whiterun. Which looks fantastic. Like I love how this mod looks.
City's closed.
And you know, if you've played Modlist Vanguard, you know that one has open cities. Wish I could here, but with the amount of overhauls I have, it would have just been a nightmare. So we're closed off, unfortunately. So here is the inside. You can see obviously the walls are still the main thing you'll notice, but we have impoverished Whiterun. Little additions like, you know, a horse statue. I think Spaghetti's has some stuff with like the arches. There's some minor things like that. Just walk right into that. Illustrious Whiterun is what's providing the textures, which I love, especially once you get up towards the higher districts. And you know what's on my list of things to do? This is what you get playtesting. These tundra scrubs look horrific. Those will be replaced by something. I forgot how awful those look. But yeah, I love like the stone, cobblestone textures here. So what else is there to look at? Let's look at some NPCs. Not anything specific overhauled. I have some skin textures, obviously, like I said, rustic clothing and Zafio's armor stuff. But other than that, nothing huge. High poly hair. My character looks weird and mismatched because I COC'd from the menu. If I reset myself, there we go. So like a good middle ground for characters. I took a look at a lot of character overhauls, and I couldn't find one that struck a mix between, you know, some of them do way too much and doesn't look like Skyrim anymore, and at the same time makes other characters who aren't overhauled just stick out like a sore thumb. And then other ones that just like they make changes, but at the same time it feels like they're changes just for change's sake, not necessarily like big improvements. So I settled on nothing, but that might change. What else is there to show off? You know, we have some basic stuff for your Vasker, for Dragon's Reach, but this is the main gist of Whiterun, which I love. I'm very happy with how it looks. I think it looks fantastic. And let's do the #1 performance test. I always think it's the big one. Is you go to the top of the Dragon's Reach step, you look over. Ooh, that's hitting us pretty hard. About 50 FPS on my my 8-year-old computer, keep in mind. And also FPS is lower because I'm recording. But all in all, that is not bad. And once you start to go down the stairs, you can see it'll skyrocket up. So let me do some testing purposes commands. Oh yeah, paper map. I always love paper map. I think, you know, the vanilla world map is cool, but I think it's really hard to get looking right. So let's go to Riverwood next. We'll just kind of hop around whatever's interesting us, and I'll just talk about things as they come up. Load screens I didn't talk about earlier, but they're overhauled a bit. So you can see how good Fabled Forest looks once you're over in Whiterun, Riverwood, I mean. Like, if you're up in here, it feels so cool. And look at the performance is great. It's not much. So the mod's based on Happy Little Trees, and I did a lot of testing and benchmarking. There's maybe like a 5 FPS, not even 5. There's like 3 to 5 FPS difference between the two, and I think the size and the extra tree placements make it very worth it. So yeah, back to Riverwood. I have Cato's Riverwood installed. One I'd never actually used before, but when I was testing on my town overhauls, basically what I did was I just searched the town or city name in Nexus, went through every single one I could find, tested a million of them, and I settled on this one. I think it's a nice middle ground. It's not like JK's Riverwood is just like clutter for clutter's sake, and I think it can feel a little samey. But with Cato's, you have some nice additions, but nothing too over the top. You know, I think over here it gets a little cramped, but nothing I'm, you know, put off by. I especially love the windmill addition. I think that looks great. The watchtower over there, this little hut. There's some really cool set pieces that just bring some movement and life. You know, the movement of the flames and the windmill just adds a little bit of a life, which I always am a fan of. Interiors aren't going to be touched much, so I'm not going to go through all of them. Let's head down to Falkreath. So yeah, I have a big mishmash of city overhauls. So we'll be seeing a lot of different styles. I should turn off survival mode. I don't know why I enabled it. So yeah, Cities of the North, Falkreath is what I have for Falkreath. Again, I looked at a lot. I looked at red bags, looked at a few other things. I just love Cities of the North. Especially, I forget what the fortress is called, but the new Jarl's Palace is great. Yeah, it just looks fantastic. Can't go wrong. I'm sure most people are familiar with the Cities of the North, so I'm not going to spend too much time here. I just wanted to show that off. Let's see, what's next? Oh yeah, I'll go to Half Moon Mill actually, because there are Cities of the North add-ons for Half Moon Mill, but to switch it up, I actually decided to use Red Bags has a couple standalone add-ons for Half Moon Mill, and I think Pine Watch is the other one. Let me get some daylight going so we can get a better visual. So yeah, some really unique. Did I not turn off survival mode? I think it's because I have the Frozen North installed. Yeah, I actually didn't go over that. So for survival, I have the Frozen North because I think it's a nice balance of like a little bit of added difficulty and interest without just the tedious micromanagement of regular survival mode. But these iMods are terrible. Who made these? Give me some cheese. I need to eat some cheese. Give me 100 cheese wheels. And yeah, that's it. I'll just... There we go. I think it's because I'm tired. Is that why I'm getting these? Yes, I'm very tired. Well, let's go sleep in here. And the great thing, if you haven't used Cities of the North or Red Bag stuff, is not only are the exteriors overhauled, brand new interiors to match, and they all look incredible. It's a little dark in here, but I'm trespassing. God, whatever. Let me just go sleep here. Oh, the fun of testing. I can't complain, it's my fault, but it's fun to complain. Oh good, now I'm starving again. Yeah, so I need to add that mod that disables survival mode immediately. It doesn't show the pop-up because it's just annoying. And like I said, the Frozen North is going to be what we use. So let's head up to a fun one. Let's go Winterhold. And we'll see what might be, I think, the best city overhaul on Nexus for any city. Full stop. A lot of you will probably know what I'm talking about, but great city of Winterhold is just beyond fantastic. And it got updated recently. You can tell performance is incredible. It used to be, I used to use this mod and get maybe 40 FPS here. Now I'm in the 70s with a more intensive setup. It looks so good. Obviously, Winterhold is one of the bigger jokes. Stop talking to me. One of the bigger jokes of vanilla Skyrim. It's ridiculous how bland it is compared to like how it's talked up in lore. College-wise, not super overhauled. I'm crossing the bridge at my own peril, so whatever. I'm using the Mage's College as my main overhaul, and then I have some other miscellaneous stuff thrown in. I'm not super sold on what I have for the college. I would like some other stuff. At night, I have a mod that makes these sigils glow, which I think is really cool. So yeah, like there's some miscellaneous things, but overall it's like more just enhanced vanilla. I'm thinking about adding a little more, but like obscures Winterhold. I forgot what the other big one is called. Just do a little too much. I wasn't a huge fan of them. I tested them. They both added a lot of gameplay stuff, like spell, roll crafting, like leveling up your skills in the Arcanum just by like clicking on books that I wasn't fond of, but that's just a me issue. Obviously, it doesn't speak to the mod's quality. I think they're both fantastic mods, but not what I was looking for. Winterhold's another one where it's not super overhauled. I got Icy Windhelm, which I think on its own just does wonders for the city. But other than that, I think I have Spaghetti's just for a few random bits and bobs here. I have a mod that improves on the meshes and like the staircase meshes all throughout the graveyard area. It's kind of hard to tell without looking at direct comparisons, but if you look at vanilla, this place is kind of a mess. The staircases and the ramps are all weird. It just polishes them up, makes them all walkable and, you know, feel normal to walk on. But honestly, I love the architecture in Windhelm, so I don't think it needs any huge additions. So I kept it pretty light. Continue. Let's go. We did Winterhold. Let's do Dawnstar. boy, I am dying to death because I'm freezing, tired, all that stuff. So yeah, you can't really see anything, but it is Cities of the North, Dawnstar. God, I wish survival mode would disable itself. Let me save and load and see if that triggers anything. Like I said, this is the woes of testing. I'll have this all polished up upon release, thankfully. Thankfully for you guys, so you don't have to deal with that. But yeah, saving and loading. Oh, it did not fix it. Nope, still dying. Heavily dying. Oops, accidentally toggled the grass. But yeah, Cities of the North, Dawnstar, also fortified Dawnstar, just to add a little bit of extra juice to the area, make it feel a little...
You really ought to put some clothes on.
Oh yeah, I know, I'm completely naked. That's probably why I'm so damn cold. Valid.
It's a curse. It has to be. I've got to get out of this town.
Irigner, get a hold of yourself. They just...
This is Skyrim gameplay right here, right? That's what we all come for. Yes, I know I'm hungry. Oh, there we go. I can see again. We can look at the beautiful Cities of the North interiors.
That it is quite normal.
Let's go to Riften. We can look at some beautiful trees too. I never was a huge fan of Happy Little Trees Aspens, so I have Aspens Ablaze. Still not entirely sold. I think they look, I do think they look great. I might tweak the textures just to make the oranges pop a little less, because I think they can be a little distracting. The yellow, like if you look over here, I think that looks great, but then you get like the real orange ones. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't go outside, so that could just be realistic, but not exactly what I'm looking for.
Halt before I let you into Rift.
Yeah, whatever.
For the privilege of entering, call it what you want. You... Nope, not the...
Well, I know a very easy solution to this. Ooh, look at that. So Riften's another one. I mean, it's kind of a theme at this point. No major overhauls, but I have the mod. It's called Riften with a Y, Riften, which just adds a lot of random stuff. You can see the canals look a lot more cluttered and kind of chaotic, but in a good way. Looks a lot more lived in, I think is a good term for it. Lots of these random paths going up and down, a lot of verticality added, which I think adds a lot of life. And, you know, what I love about stuff like this, when you have stuff that makes the city feel just more lived in and more, I don't want to say realistic, but like more realistic in the way that you could tell that people are living here and are spending their lives here, and there's like actual movement going on outside of what is shown directly in game. I think it really lowers the need for massive like NPC mods that add a bunch of NPCs and just kind of bland unnamed citizens wandering around with no dialogue that just tank performance. I don't think you need that when you have like high quality city overhauls that add life through means other than just NPCs. And we can look at Medesi here. You can see Children of the Hist is installed, which is just a wonderful mod. It's part of a 3-part series.
Running a little light in the pockets.
Stop, Brynjolf. I do not care. But yeah, also Orcs and Khajiit. We'll try to run into some of those because they have some fantastic overhauls as well. I don't think there's any of either race here. So we will Let's go to Ivarstead. So yeah, everything from minor to major holds, cities, towns, whatever, I have overhauled it in some way, pretty much. This is Thuldor's Ivarstead, based on Cities of the North architecture. I have some mods that tweak the textures of it to feel a little more like Riften-y, which I think looks nice. And it's just like unrecognizable. I love how all these city overhauls have come together. If you've played vanilla, you know how this settlement looks. You know, it's at the bottom of the third of the world. Big, like, place for pilgrims who all come through visiting, but it just feels like nothing. You know, when you add a mod like this, adds a lot more life, adds a lot more meat to the concept of this actually being, like, not necessarily a bustling town.
I've lived in this village for many seasons and now
and you see
care for its temple.
some custom voiced NPCs, I believe. You're not vanilla. Yeah, this is added by Thuldor's, but you can tell the voice acting.
Greetings, traveler. Welcome to Ivarstead.
Very high quality. Doesn't, you know, if you didn't know that wasn't vanilla, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. Which is always a big pet peeve of mine with, you know, mod added stuff, especially quests and stuff like that, is when they add NPCs that just have horrific voice acting that makes it hard to focus on anything other than that. So we did Riften, we did everything to the east. Falkreath. Go to Rorikstead. Rorikstead is a fun one. Probably one of the more unique ones. I'm dying again. Just ignore me dying. It happens. But Red Bags, Rorikstead. Oh, you know what? I actually skipped the Morthal, I'm remembering. But yeah, Red Bags. What's this place called? Rorikstead. Looks incredible. These little, I don't even know what these are called. It's like a traditional, not traditional, I don't know what I'm talking about, but an old style of housing in like Nordic areas. As you can tell, I know my history. But it's just such a unique flavor added to this area instead of just your regular townhouses. Completely unique architecture, which just makes it feel like, I don't know, Rorikstead is one of the more boring places in vanilla to me. Like, I always forget about it. But with this mod, it's just so nice. It's fun to visit because you just, I don't know, it just feels so cool to see. You can see the grass again. I was talking about Cathedral earlier. I just love how it looks in the tundra. I think it's still one of the best out there, despite it being, I don't want to say old. It's not even necessarily that old, but a lot of people will use like QWs or Skoglandy or one of the bigger, more FPS intensive ones. But Cathedral, just can't go wrong with it for me. So yeah, oops. Forgot to go to Morthal, which is over here. Because Morthal is another one where you have red bag stuff, where it also just completely transforms the architecture, giving that, you know, it gives the whole area its own unique feel. It doesn't just feel like another reskinned. It doesn't feel like all the exact same people built every house in Skyrim. So we'll go through, and what you'll see is that basically the houses are built out of like upturned ships and stuff, a lot of them. And it's just all very like patchworky driftwood kind of style, and it just looks so unique, so incredible. I love the colors too. The colors feel super fun, but not like out of place, like the purples and the greens. I think look great. It's just so nice to look at. Oops, I'm in the water. I'm freezing to death now. That's fun. I will show some things. Yeah, I got some nice mushrooms dotted around to add some little bit of Morrowind vibes to the swamp. Let's see if I can climb my way out of here. Fabled Forest adds a ton of trees to this area, so it really feels like dense and claustrophobic, which I like. And I think the mushrooms add a lot. I'm just going through it out here, man. I'm cold, freezing, hungry. I believe the mod's called Detailed Swamps. Yeah, that's mushrooms, little random visual plants. I think these are from Saints and Seducers, maybe. But they're all just purely visual. They're not like alchemy ingredients or anything. There we go, warming up again. So yeah, the swamp feels great. Love how it looks. I guess we can go up to Solitude too. I forgot about Solitude. So yeah, this is a first devlog, so it's gonna be a lot of me kind of meandering, saying random things, because I'm trying to explain everything at once. But I want to do these. I'm not gonna commit to anything like weekly or anything, but I want to do them pretty often and just explain what I've changed, what I've done. Maybe talk about specific areas, like have something about combat, one about the quests, that sort of thing. But yeah, for now I'm just kind of going a basic overview of everything. So yeah, I love how Solitude looks. This is MRF Solitude. It's just a retexture. But it feels great. It looks great. It looks very imperial. I think Spaghetti's was in here as well, just for, you know, that random bit of generic clutter. You know, I've been looking at a couple mods I want to add. I have a list now. I gotta fix those tundra scrubs, and I want to add there's a mod that diversifies all the firewood piles, because it's an asset that Spaghetti I think likes to use a lot. So having those, you know, some birch, some regular pine, some half empty. It's a base object swapper mod. It looks really cool. I'll probably add that. But yeah, you can see, you know, layout-wise, it's pretty similar, but it's just got some, you know, a nice HD coat of paint on it. Oh, and that's a good one. That's a good timing. I have the clock tower. That's top of the Bard's College. I think it looks so good. It's a fantastic idea. A nice little bit of, not even necessarily immersion, but a little bit of fantasy. I love how it looks. Is it realistic? No, probably not at all. Have they invented mechanical clocks like that? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe there's a guy up there just spinning it. I don't know. There's magic in this world, so let's kind of temper our expectations. I love the ivy on the walls of this place that I totally know the name of, because it's a very important part of the main quest that I've definitely played and finished. There's some weird occlusion stuff, I think, while walking through here. I'll have to take a look at that. Oh yeah, you can see Embers XD for fires. I have an add-on mod that makes sparks just go like flying out of the fire, so I like that. I think it's fun. Same thing with the forges. Oh, here's another. Children of the Hist.
You might want to rethink that. You're missing out on some wonderful opportunities.
That's great. I gotta find a Khajiit. Where's the Khajiit? There's one in the Winking Skeever, I think. I'll have to find the Khajiit caravan, because they'll have a ton of cool stuff. They'll look great. They'll have some fun armors.
Take a seat and get the cold out.
No, you're an Argonian. I was thinking of that guy. Yeah, so, like I said, interiors, pretty much the same. Are retextured, which I like. Very Oblivion feeling. Saying that as someone who has not played much Oblivion at all. Wow, did you see that? He like hit the axe, but it stayed balanced. That's impressive. Where haven't we been? Let's go to, where haven't we been? Actually, don't know. Let's look at the map. I guess, yeah, Markarth. I think Markarth is like the last big one. Alright, let's see if I can save Margaret's life here. Let's come in clutch. I'm spamming my mouse button. I'm gonna get her. Oh shit, I missed. Nope. That's my bad.
Never should have come here.
I choked that. Oops. God is awesome. So like I said, I kind of want to talk about combat more later, but what I will say is I don't have precision, which I think is a big one, and it's also something that might change. But my thing with precision is Requiem does a good amount of balancing, especially with Requiem for a Knave. I think it changes it a bit with weapon reach. You can see I have it enabled where you can see the reach here. And I'm not going to say that reach becomes meaningless with precision, but it doesn't reflect the in-game values because it's entirely perfectly accurate to how the model is versus like a cone around the player, which obviously is better in 99 if not 100% of scenarios, but I want to mess around with it because Requiem is a fickle beast, as people who have modded it or used it at all know. But again, that's something that may change as I play this more and get a feel for the combat, a better feel. So yeah, Markarth, I have Mossy Markarth, Golden Dwemer Pipeworks, I think a mod called City of Stone, which adds just some fun details up, like that big old aqueduct. These survival mods are gonna make me kill myself, I'll be honest, they're terrible.
Come on in.
That's why I'm disabling survival mode. No one should have to deal with this. Let me sleep on this wonderfully comfortable slab of stone and walk into a wall. But yeah, not a ton to show off with Markarth. There's not many huge Markarth overhauls. And I think that might just be because it's on its own just a fantastic city in vanilla. I think Spaghetti's is here as well. Just, again, your random bits and bobs. Probably pretty hard for you guys to see with YouTube compression. That night sky looks gorgeous, though. So let's... Any last ones I want to check out? See if I knew where any places were. Totally. Oh, Dragon's Bridge. Yeah, that's a good one. We wait until the morning. Let's see a little bit yet, but I'm using Roderick's Dragon Bridge, which is a fantastic mod. I think kind of the go-to at this point for Dragon Bridge overhauls. Really fits in with MRF Solitude. Feels very, very Cyrodiilic. I'm using a texture overhaul for it that I'm not completely sold on. I think it looks a little Play-Doh-y, maybe. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm not sold on it. I think I overall do like it, though. But yeah, Roderick's Dragon Bridge in the same vein as City of the North, red bag stuff. Brand new architecture, brand new matching interiors. It's all great. Fantastic stuff. And yeah, I mean, no EMB or anything, but even without LOD generated, it looks terrible in the distance. But I am very happy with how this list looks, performs, everything. There'll still be tweaks to come to further improve stuff, random stuff like children still look like that. Some animals still just kind of out here vibing. There's stuff to improve, but overall I'm really happy with it. I'll continue to do updates like I said. But for now, yeah, that's the first devlog for Moonshadow. Really excited to continue working on this update. I've spent so much time on it already. I'm very happy with how it's turned out. And I'm looking forward to continuing working on it and hopefully getting it released soon. So yeah, I will see you guys next time. How did I survive that? Oh yeah, I'm in God mode. That's why. Yeah, but I will see you guys maybe in a week, maybe a month, maybe a year. We'll find out. But ow, I'm trying to talk here. yeah, I'll see you guys when I see you.